Hey, what's good everyone, Chris here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about the camera that I was hoping to replace my X100T. This is the Fujifilm XM1, and if you are not acquainted with this camera, I'm gonna tell you a few things about it today, and I hope I'm gonna make you at least thinking about buying this camera because it's a monster of a toy. And I'm saying all that because I tested it and I went outside and test all kinds of things about it. I tested it in low light. I shot a few photos to see how this sensor provides in low light with high ISO, and it does very well. This is the X-Trans 1 sensor that probably you know already from the X Pro 1 and the XC1, and it's a 16 megapixel sensor, not big but big enough for all kinds of applications. Also, this camera can shoot 5.6 frames per second, and it can beat some of the cameras even these days with that frame rate. And I believe that when Fujifilm released this camera, they should hype it more because it is indeed a beautiful, very portable, very small, all day, everyday carry camera that can provide you with amazing image quality. Now, on top of it, it's probably the best feature that I really enjoy. It's the pop-up flash, and this is a foldable flash, so you can basically tilt it back and forth using it as a fill flash or maybe for a portrait somewhere on the side and so on and so forth. And it's a smart flash like Fujifilm used to call it, because it doesn't give you that in-the-face pop flash look that you get on the photos when you're shooting on-camera flashes. It's a bit more soft and a bit more subdued, and it looks very nice. I think it can reach 7 meters or something like that, so it's pretty powerful as well. And the other feature that I really love about this camera, it's the battery. This is a small camera, but Fujifilm somehow managed to fit these batteries. This is the MPW126 battery, and if I'm not mistaken, you can use the 126S as well. These are big batteries for this camera that can retain around 350 shots, they say. I think 450 will be easy on it because there is not much of power consumption. The processor inside is not super powerful, so it won't take much of the juice from the battery. Also, this camera doesn't have an EVF or an OVF. You're only using the screen on the back, and I would be mean to say that this screen is bad. It's not bad at all. It's around 1 million dots, and it's a flip up screen. So you can flip the screen up and down 90 degrees. So it basically goes flat on it, which means you can use this camera as a overhead camera, either for shooting photos or for shooting videos. It shoots 1080p up to 30 frames per second, and the image quality is not bad at all in terms of video. But the X-Trans sensor is probably one of the most debated sensors in terms of colors, and not because it's a bad sensor, but because people are loving the colors coming out of this sensor, as well as the X-Trans 2 sensor that I have in my X100T, and I never shot this sensor in the past. So I wanted to test it. I wanted to see how it works, and it works very well. And you probably saw already images throughout this video because I'm gonna put images up for you to see how this camera performs. 16 megapixels, again, it's more than enough for a lot of applications, and if you're not printing billboards, and even if you do, that will work well. The color rendition, the sharpness, and everything else on the sensor works well for my kind of shooting. I'm shooting the 27mm f2.8 that I have on, and this makes the camera look like a X100 series, very small and very portable, pocketable even. This camera doesn't have an EVF or OVF, and I'm still holding of what I said in the past. I love an EVF to be able to raise the camera to your eye and see everything in a frame that for me looks more natural than just looking on the back of the screen. But this screen is pretty bright in even bright conditions like here in California. In sunny conditions, you can apply a feature called sunny weather or sunny brightness, something like that, and the screen is gonna be brighter. It's gonna probably consume more battery, but it will give you the ability to see the frame and whatever you're shooting, the exposure, even in bright sun. And I tested it again and it works very well. Now on the back of the camera we have a D-pad that has all the functions like it used to have, and the 100T has these functions as well. So you have the AF and the delete button, as well as a drive button right here that can switch the camera from single shot to multiple shots to bracketing and stuff like that. You also have the macro button, and we also have a white balance button. On the top we have an FM button that you can customize, and unfortunately this is the only button that you can customize on this camera. Other than that, everything on it stays the way it is, and that might be a bit of a downside. The screen, it's not a touch screen, so you can't use swipes. So only having one customizable button, it's hard to work with, but I think as long as you're getting used to and use it for whatever you need the most, it's gonna be helpful. And the two dials on top, one is the PASM dial that has more than just the program, aperture priority, shutter speed priority, and manual. It does have scenes and advanced filters, also a mode that puts the camera in auto, and you have an auto plus as well called SR plus that you can switch to and hand the camera to someone else to take a photo of you or your family, or something like that, and that is very useful. The other two dials are a dial that helps you with the shutter speed, and it's very clicky. I love the feel of this dial. And the one in the back, or on the back plate, it feels kind of weird because it's vertical, not horizontal. And you might think that you have to basically tilt your or crouch your thumb in a very weird position, but it's not that. If you're holding the camera normally, using your thumb and this protuberance right here on your thumb, you can just move this dial no problem. And this is the aperture, or it can be the exposure compensation depending on the mode that you're shooting on. And that is pretty much it with the dials and buttons. We have the shutter button that is not threaded, it's just a normal shutter button, but it feels well. And also the on-off switch that mine, it's a bit I don't know, tight, but it feels well. And the tripod mount that is obviously close to the battery and SD card door, because the SD card is, as any other Fujifilm, say not pro Fujifilm camera, right here with the battery. So that is a little bit of a downside. And I think this is pretty much it about the XM1. This is an old camera, and it deserves a video because I still believe it's an amazing camera even in 2022. If you're thinking about buying it for you to hanging around with, and again, it's a cheap camera to buy used, and you won't even care if something happens to it. It's not very solid indeed. It's made out of plastic. There are a few dents and scratches and stuff like that, but it still works, no problem. Also, I believe that this camera deserves recognition as a camera to use even when you're comparing it to a GR3 or a other street photography loved camera that people are always talking about it, because this one has an interchangeable mount and you can use whatever lens you want on it, and even use it for professional stuff like portraits and stuff like that if you don't need a high resolution camera. So yeah, I think this video has its place, and thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing the channel, and if you didn't, and most of you don't because I see the views but not much subscribing, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If not, go ahead and watch other videos in the playlist down there, and also while you're there, check out the affiliate links if you want to buy something that I'm using, and those links won't set you back more than the camera costs or whatever the item costs. It only gives me a kickback, help me to keep this channel running, and helps me, supporting me for whatever I'm doing for you guys. And that's it. Stay focused, my friends, and I will definitely see you in a bit.